Hi everyone, so we just finished watching the Diablo 4 developer Campfire chat earlier, and then I went ahead and did a full summary of this entire thing here in my Season 3 sheet. So that is linked in the description, along with the full VODs of the Campfire chats if you want to go check it out. I also have a bunch of other information in here. I put together an entire sheet for the Seneschal Companion with all the skills, the screenshots, everything I could find. Some vault info, some gauntlet info. So there was a lot of stuff in there that I'm gonna unpack here. We also had some new faces this time. So we have Madeleine James, quest designer, who talked a lot about how they made a season story, etc. And Daniel Tanguay, the lead seasons designer. And then there was Adam Fletcher and Adam Jackson that you might know already, the lead class designer. So they all talked through various points of the season and gave us a bit more information that I'm gonna reveal to you here if you haven't seen it. So TLDR from like the general perspective, that's going to be unique for every class. So we have two previewed already that look really amazing, by the way. And then there is going to be two balance periods in the future, every single season. One, the big one at the season launch, and one mid-season update. So apparently they want to keep going with this kind of like mid-season, stuff, basically, maybe even similar, events to Midwinter Blight and Path of Exile. So that might become actually a regular thing, with including even new content, or at least like small little things, but also potentially buffing and nerfing certain things, especially if some stuff turns out to be broken or bugged. Then they might actually readjust that in the middle of a season. So Adam Jackson went ahead and explained that a bit more in the philosophy, but some cases where something may just turn out a bit too strong, but like more than intended, but there's nothing bugged about it, they might just leave that and maybe adjust it next season. But maybe stuff like ball lightning or like the Hoda stuff, that's like clearly bugged. There were some things that made it way stronger than it should, so those things would be fixed probably. But he said that they were gonna be communicating this, ahead of time so that people can prepare in case something like that happens. And they generally don't want to just nerf things just because they're too good, only if it's like, really game breaking or something. Then we also have the seasonal designs they want to bring back. So for example, like the Millennium rings in season 1, or like from season 1, they brought them back in season 2. And similarly, we might actually get some new items or some new effects from the vampiric powers coming later in mid-season in season 3, for example. So they want to make this like a regular thing. And they also included potentially the content of previous seasons as well. So, for example, if people really like this world, maybe in season 4, they're actually gonna keep it around, or they're gonna, bring back like a smaller version of it or something like that. So we'll see. That could be pretty fun. And they talked about snapshotting. They said that they are aware of this, but there are no changes on season launch. So that is, yeah, a bit unlucky, I guess. But on the other hand, we don't have Avatar of Zir now. And, well, in the reality of regular gameplay, I guess no one really does any kind of snapshotting unless you're like Omega tryhard. So it's not the biggest deal, but especially with the Gauntlet coming, with leaderboards coming, that might be a problem. So at the very minimum, they need to fix it until then, I guess, if they actually allow us to swap items in there. Another nice thing is Season Journey is no longer like a requirement for the quest line, so you can go at level 1, finish the entire quest line if you like, which apparently is like way bigger and more exciting and stuff than previously. And you can get your Seneschal Companion, you can start unlocking those support gems, all these abilities and stuff right from the start, basically. So not like in Season 2 where you had to actually grind up some stuff first. Now, for some class buffs and changes, Barbs are gonna get some mega charge buffs, like ridiculous charge buffs. So that might be like a meta build, or at least like a extra skill you can throw into like other builds and have some nuke or something. They also want to buff all of the key passes, pretty much besides the Unrelenting Fury. And we have they want to break the triple shout meta. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it seems like there's going to be maybe other synergies for example, using brawling skills, using the defensive skills or something like that. Or maybe it's like less reliance on stacking shouts, but maybe you just want to have one or so. So we'll see. They didn't give us much more details than that. For the Zorks, there's Conjuration and Summoner stuff to look forward to, and Meteor buffs and a unique. So they actually showed this one in action, the Starfall Coronet. That gives you a cooldown and 2 charges on a Meteor and makes it cast more Meteors at once. That seems pretty crazy. I'm very excited for this item. I already started theory crafting a little bit around this. And I think you can even do some kind of combinations of like a Fireball plus Meteor build or a Firewall plus Meteor or something like that. So I'm definitely going to work on that in the next 3 days once we have the actual patch notes. But that one is really cool. They showed a little preview and there was meteors flying like crazy. They also talked about Paragon node buffs and Lightning Spear applying vulnerable. So some stuff like that sounds pretty cool. Of course, Ball Lightning is going to get hammered. Just like Hoda as well, by the way. Then we have Rogue. So they are fixing Poison Imbue Twisting Blades, finally. So that means that that build will not be like absolutely busted against especially bosses anymore. Twisting Blades will always remain good, I guess, with just the way it works. But you don't have like this ridiculous, you know, triple damage output that you are supposed to have. And instead they're buffing some range skills as well. So I think it's going to be mostly a ranged Rogue season. Also Precision, key passive buff is coming. Kaltros buff is coming, the unique bows. So it sounds really fun. And I'm personally excited to actually try a lot more stuff with the ranged abilities that Rogue has to offer. So let's see what comes there. Then you have the Druid. They want to buff some of the Spirit Boons that are underused. They showcase the one with Thorns, which I guess no one cares about. But okay, maybe some others are also buffed here. And then there's going to be Rabies buffs and Legendary that we didn't see. And also Lightning Storm buffs and the unique. So this is this one here, the other unique item that I have shown. And that one also looks really crazy. So it gives you like a faster like accumulation of the Lightning Storm growth basically. And he also basically deals double damage because it strikes twice when you crit. And it has really good stats. So this thing is a powerhouse. And single-handedly makes the Lightning Storm viable, basically. I'm very excited to try that, if I'm honest. So let's see. And finally, for the Necromancers, they're not really getting all too much new stuff here, it seems, but Necromancers were generally in an okay spot, I would say. However, Bone Spirit seems like it's gonna get some massive buffs here. They already showed this aspect that is like really powerful. And it sounded like there's more stuff coming for Bone Spirit. So that might be actually like a new meta build or something. Some improvements here. Bone Prison, you can walk through them. Golem's gonna get AoE now, some minion buffs in general. We'll see if there's enough to actually make minions like fully viable, but there might be more options now at least. Now, in terms of some of the nerfs and bug fixes, I mentioned a few of them. So Ball Lightning, obviously, is getting tuned down. Tibort's Will bug is gone. Poison TB bug is gone. Blurred Beast Double Dip is gone. So basically, you know, all of the like, you know, the top 4, top 5 builds in the game right now in our 12-0 rankings at least are getting hammered very expectedly because, you know, most of them relied on bugs. And here we are basically. Also, Overpower is getting tuned down. They said this wasn't bugged. They just kind of like missed the mark there and made it too good. And that is gonna drop a little bit. So Overpower builds will suffer a bit. I guess you will mostly feel that on actually Druids with Polarize. They were already not really that crazy, I think. And we'll see how they'll feel now. Some cool quality of life stuff is coming though. So we have that here. Hell Tides is going to be up 55 minutes, down 5 minutes every time on the full hour. So you can farm it all the time. WSD movement is coming. So in case you haven't seen that yet, skill tree respecking is coming, like a respec mode basically, where I can just like assign stuff and then lock it in. Gold trading is going to be a thing for console players, and also they're going to buff item power in World Tier 4. So it seems to be way easier to get 925 loot now. So I think I talked about 9 Dungeons actually, and you know, other sources. It's like not just Duriel basically, and giving you high item power, and also a lot more beats in the ice mats. Yeah, so this was kind of the summary here of like general things and the class changes for the Campfire. There was a lot more information about the vault as well. I took a few screenshots, and this is like also like from some other trailers. But basically what we know about the vault, I've already talked about it in another video as well. But basically this is a new season theme dungeon that you can unlock, and then you can also craft sigils for that and make it harder. That's going to be a boss fight, Malphas, that can drop some of those stones for your pet, and a bunch of other rewards you can get in there. It's filled with all these traps, as you can see here. There's some examples. There's like these ground traps, spike traps, like these darts and flamethrowers and all that kind of stuff. And you try to get through there without getting hit as much as like you want to get hit as little as possible, and like this you increase your reward at the end. So the more stacks you have of this Sultan's warding buff, or at least if you have at least one, you can open this chest and get some extra reward. So that sounds really fun to me, at least, so I'm excited to try this out. And there's also going to be these Arcane Tremors outdoor events. I don't know exactly how it works, if it's like timed, or if it's just like up all the time, or if it's like, you know, moving around. But they had this map showcase here, so you're gonna see these icons. You can go there. There's like certain elites that you can fight, and some pillars that spawn monsters, and some events, and you can get some of those materials there. So there's some open world farming, and then there's the vault, like a dungeon that you go into, and this is how that will work. Now, for the Gauntlet, TLDR, they didn't give us a date. Hopefully, it's not going to be on last Epoch launch, I guess. But what you need to know about this one, it's going to be a weekly competition with a fixed dungeon. So as soon as they actually turn this thing on, every week it will rotate, a bit like the challenge works in Diablo 3. You go in there with your own character, though, not with like a pre-built character. And you're going to get a participation medal. So depending on how well you perform, you're going to get a score. And then you get like this seal of something. There's like different ranks basically. And if you make it to the top 1000, you actually get ranked on this week's leaderboard that you can see here. So depending on the score, you get higher and higher. There's going to be filters. So that you can filter for the game mode, for the platform, for group size, class, whatever. Probably some more. And even like your clan, for example. So you can do that. And then you can get your top rank there if you try really hard. And the top 10 of each week actually gets immortalized in the Hall of Ancients. So it's going to be a permanent leaderboard that after this week has ended, it's going to display the top clears forever, basically. There's going to be unlimited attempts, and you can enter as soon as you hit World Tier 4, but the monsters don't scale, so they're all going to be level 124, which is the equivalent of a Tier 70 dungeon. And as for the mechanics, yeah, it's like filled with all kinds of random stuff, bosses, elites, etc., and it might even change from week to week or so. There's an 8-minute timer, so you have like a limited amount of time to like go through the run, explore the dungeon, kill everything, get the score. There's like also like some score like drops or something that get auto picked up, so that's kind of nice. And there's also these pillars of proving. I think these are the ones basically that respawn everything in the map. So you can kind of make a route, try to clear like half the dungeon, and then, you know, take the way back again if it's like a really juicy part. And you can kind of like min-max your strategy a little bit like this. And this is how they want to keep that interesting. So yeah, this is basically how that works. We'll see how it will be in practice. Personally, I'm, you know, somewhat looking forward to this, but we'll see if I want to do this like every single week or not. So who knows? There's not an actual like reward attached to this for your character, for your progression or something like that. So the leaderboard and the gauntlet is completely optional. So you don't have to do that. Yeah, so my takeaways here for the wins and the losses of this, I gotta say, for the wins, I'm very happy with the buffs and the nerfs they announced. So, you know, like some of the top builds, I mean, you know, they were either just bugged, like the Poison TB, or they were just like ridiculous, like the Ball Lightning for no reason, or Hoda. So I'm quite happy with the direction that is going. I think they actually chose the right skills to buff that were like, you know, really suffering. And let's see if this is enough, or if, you know, maybe they're gonna do more. There's certainly more stuff in the patch notes as well. So that is cool. The new items look cool. Personally, I'm a fan of the Vault and the Malphas fight, at least from what I've seen so far. So I'm looking forward to that. Helltide buff is good, I think, so a lot of people were waiting for that, something like this. However, they did not actually change Helltide, so it's not exactly just a pure win. Like, it sounds like they didn't actually make Helltide more interesting. So that's something I was looking forward to, at least. Then we have the quality of life stuff. So, you know, like the WSD, and I think there's gonna be an extra stash tab, for example, and, you know, this kind of stuff here. That's kind of cool. And then for the else, yeah, so we have no improvement to the Duriel grind outside of more Helltides. But as I mentioned, for example, I would have loved to see a rework of Helltide, you know, something more like Blood Harvest, you know, more events and, you know, Bloodseeker type monsters popping up and stuff like that is really missing in Helltide, I think. So that is sad. It's only Duriel, and now we don't even have dupes. So good luck, everyone. Then we have no real endgame challenge right now. I mean, there is the vault that may or may not be really hard, but I don't think it's going to be like anywhere close to like the high-end Avatar of Zero challenge right now. So that is going to be completely missing. And it's going to be like the question for a lot of people, like, why do you actually want to like try to min-max a character all that much outside of the gauntlet, maybe? We don't even have a date for that, by the way. So yeah, and the codex rework. So they talked about this like months ago already. They want to make every aspect like in the codex and, you know, remove everything from your inventory basically, so you don't have to store like 3 stash tabs of legendaries to imprint, but that is not done. So F. And I would have really liked to see, you know, some information publicly about the itemization changes. I have seen them already, like some months ago, basically, or some weeks ago. They do look really cool, and I understand they're not ready. They're probably going to be season 4, but at the very least, I think they could have shown something. So that's kind of sad. I think that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, and also snapshots. So we'll see. I hope they're gonna fix that, and it's not gonna be like, you know, too impactful for like the current, like, you know, gameplay and the meta and like how we're gonna play through the walls, for example. But I really hope that this gets fixed very soon. So yeah, this is what I can share here for now for this Campfire chat. If you want to see the entire Campfire chat, again, I have it linked in the description. If you want that sheet here, it's also there. Go check it out. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, there is also one last thing about this Campfire chat that they announced, which is the support a streamer program. So this was something that they had launched on launch of the game back in June. And basically you could go to Twitch and give 2 subs to participating streamers. I was one of them, so thank you all very much for those who supported me. And again, if you are willing to do this again, I would very much appreciate that. But you're going to get this mount here if you give 2 subs to any Twitch streamer. So you can also do that on any other channel that is streaming Diablo 4 on season launch. So also, you know, make sure you show some love to all the other guys. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this little summary here, and I'll see you guys next time.